Hello, it is your friendly neighbourhood stick insect back once again with another tech tree showcase. This time it is going to be on the STRV 103B. Now this is one of the most deadly tech trees in the entire game, but the start of it is not exactly ideal. Meet the IKV 103. This thing is horrible. You see, you have a 300 alpha damage gun with 120 pen, and that is using heat, which you might think, Max, that's very, very good. However, the premium round is 140 pen, but also heat. Now, some of you might not be realizing the problem here, but the problem is that heat is not the best ammunition choice all the time. And you can come into situations very, very often where you simply cannot hit the target because there is an obstacle in the way. Not to mention, there is no HE rounds on this vehicle, and considering the alpha damage of the standard round, you would probably be looking at 450 HE, which could have been very, very fun at tier 5. And you may be looking at the rest of these gun stats thinking, Max, this is really, really good. You have a 9-second reload, you have a 2000 DPM, 0.38 accuracy, 1.9 second aim time. That's nice. And yeah, it is nice, apart from the fact that we haven't spoken about the shell velocity yet. 418 meters a second. I would say that I can throw the shells faster than that, but this shell velocity means that you can't really snipe, although it is hilarious when you do. But you also can't really brawl because you only have 500 hit points, and that's with using hardening. If you weren't to use hardening, that goes down to 460. But you also don't have the armor, as we're going to go into in a second, and just in general, it's a very, very annoying tank to play. You go at 64 kilometers an hour forwards and 22 in reverse, and you have 20 power to weight, but when you try to turn the vehicle, I thought my keyboard was broken. When you play this vehicle, you are genuinely like a torpedo. You go really, really fast forwards, but as soon as you need to turn, it's like... Stationary camera is pretty good at 34%, so you can remain hidden, and that's only with one crew member having concealment. And the view range is, well, it's the view range of a tank destroyer at tier 5. The armor of this vehicle is simply fantastic. So yes, when I played this vehicle, I had a thoroughly disappointing experience. And it is the reason why I went for a very different loadout than I was expecting to. Because originally I was going with vents, rammer, maybe some optics to help out, or maybe even binos, and then I realized that this tank plays nothing like the rest of the line. In fact, I don't know why this tank is at tier 5, because it doesn't fit the line at all. So yeah, we ended up with HP Turbo Rammer, and we just tried to trade effectively whenever we can. Well, I mean, we traded 1 for 1. That's good. Go on, KV1SA. Kill it. Nice. We still can... Oh, very good. Okay. Is there anything behind that? The 60G is behind this. Ugh. Go. It's literally over. Go. The game is over. There's no one left. Please tell me I can shoot this. Yes. Look at that. I can't be bothered to play this tank anymore. We've played 9 games. You know what? That's good enough. We now move on to the IKV-65-2. This is lovely. The only downside of this vehicle is the narrow gun arc, which only has 15 degrees each side. But that's not a complete catastrophe considering that you have tanks like the Polish TD line, which only has like 5 degrees either side. For the rest of the stats, you do have 240 alpha, which is a step down from the tier 5, but it's actually a step up because this is usable. And you have 180 standard penetration. If you go to premium, that goes up to 230. And the HE on this vehicle is 320 alpha with 45 pen. So you're not really going to be penning many things, but it is there if you need it. The reload time is 7.64 seconds, you have 1,884 DPM, 0.3 accuracy, and 1.66 second aim time. You go 60 forwards with 20 in reverse and nearly a 19 power to weight. This allows you to get around the map, go into these sniping locations, and then deal damage. That is what you want to do with this tank. You don't want to be on the front line, you don't want to be on the second line, you want to be at the back, sniping and dealing damage to help your team. You also have 32% camo, and we do have 1 crew member with concealment, and the view range is 477. However, we are now using a more traditional setup for the equipment. We have vents, rammer, and binos, which is what I would expect more at this tier. If we then remove the binos, that goes all the way down to 382, so keep that in mind. You could obviously go ahead and put optics onto this vehicle, and you would have 420 view range, and that'd be constant, but I think that the binos is going to help you out the most for this vehicle. And now we have the armor. I reckon a strong fart could go through one of these things. Right, massive potential in this map. Let's see if the light tanks actually play the game, because that is where the potential suddenly ends very, very quickly. Just aim for the enemy light if he's going to be down this road. There he is. Too high. Super Cheffy. Does he kill that? Well, does our Super Chaffee win this? I think? Okay, good. He did win. Well, so 2 of their lights are gone. They only have 1 left, which is very, very good. Hello, Berza. It's not a clean shot, though. Their ELC got spotted on the other side of the map, so I think we're okay. Oh, the M6 is actually pushing up. Don't really need heat for this, but whatever, we have it loaded at the moment. Now, hopefully, the next time the Berza gets pushed up, we should be able to shoot him. Or? No, he's not going to push. The light tanks are playing... Ooh. Okay, he did want to push, apparently. The light tanks are actually playing very, very well. They're not YOLOing. They're not dying for no reason. Do you believe? Alright, let's go back to the AP rounds, and we'll... Okay, right as I was loading. Where does that go? There is a shot here. Look at... This is such a tiny shot, though. We should stay hidden when we fire this. Off he goes. Is he actually behind house? Yes, he is. I really hate this bug, where you zoom in and it removes the terrain. And we had to shoot. I'm not actually spotted, but this guy is. We still have 1 light tank, but they also have 1 light tank, so... Run away, come on! I think we just go to the very back. We don't risk trying to shoot from back here. The AMX is also going to come around and probably just try and kill this. So it might be worth going back to just try and kill the AMX if he pushes. Yeah. I mean, now that that's out the game, maybe there's potential to win. Go on, peek it. You know you want to peek it, Cavalier. Go on! Just up you go a little bit more. Wait, where is he going? I was too slow. He's going to the dip, so... I should try and spot the T1 Heavy, actually. If I go up here, I should spot him. He does not have the view range to do anything against me. Nice. Easy game. And that's mainly because our light tanks were better. Or... I wanted another kill. Okay? I need another kill. That is big kill stealing. That wasn't too bad. 1.6. It's only second class, but I think the game flowed quite nicely. Apply. We now move on to the IKV 90B. Now, when I played this tank the first time, I really didn't enjoy this vehicle, given that was many, many years ago when I was first grinding the line. Your alpha damage has remained the same at 240, but your penetration has gone up to 210. And if you use the premium round, that goes all the way up to 250, with heat. The HE on this vehicle has remained exactly the same for the last tank that you played, with 45 pen and 320 alpha damage. But your reload time is now down to 5.8 seconds, and your DPM is now around about 2,500. You also are a lot more accurate, and the aim time is 1.75 seconds, which means that this gun has nothing to worry about. You go at 65 km/h forwards with 20 in reverse and 22 power to weight. However, that's not strictly true. By default, these are the effective top speed that you're actually going to achieve. You have 50 km/h on hard, which is tarmac, you then have 43 km/h on medium, which is grass, and you then have 26 km/h on soft, which is the swamp environment. Even if you go ahead and add brothers in arms, off-road driving, and food, you're still only looking at around about 54, 49, and 49. Nowhere close to that 65 km/h top speed limit. Obviously, you could go ahead and get the first field mod, but if you're just grinding the vehicle, you're never going to get that. Camera rating is roughly the same. Again, we do have that one member with concealment on him, and the view range is now 433, and we are running optics instead of binos. The same equipment applies though, vents, rammer, and optics. And the armor of this thing is exactly the same as the tier 6 that you just played pretty much. Yeah, everything will pen you. Chat, I can't remember which one you knocked down. I think you knocked this one down to the left. And then that protects you. And then you can shoot this or something. Yeah, look, that'll work. KV2 sniping, by the way. I like the gun arc on this. The gun arc being 20 is actually very nice. I think this tank is really like you get into position and just pray that people are in front of you. That looked a bit laggy then. Oh, hello, Super Hellcat. I mean, all my teammates are in front of me, so I can't actually shoot you. There we go. Let's go and be a little bit more aggressive and see if we can kill the Caro. Come here, little Caro. He's going to appear to the left-hand side, not the right. Why is Max drinking piss? It's an acquired taste. Lovely. Oh, Caro. Yes. There we go. Do I get spotted? Not even spotted. Beautiful. I may be spotted now, though. Oh, not even spotted again. Should be able to shoot the Achilles in a second. And hopefully the Tiger 1 will spot him again. Track him. Don't quite get the tracking shot, though. The Super Chaffee is making a beeline for this. Well done, Super Chaffee. Congratulations. Okay, this felt good. I mean, the gun does feel nice. We're gonna take one here. Oh. I'm still worried that the KV-2 is at the back of the map and anyone else that is behind him, like behind this T-150. Ugh. That shot was awful. That was absolutely horrific. I'm not sure if there's anything more at the back over here. They did ping it, but I'm not sure. Put one blind in. The SU-100 just killed the VK. So the SU-100 is... Ah, the SU-100 is right here. Which I'm guessing it'd be right at the very... Oh, not quite right at the very back. I can't spot him, though. I do spot him now. Hello, SU! Very nice. And we even get the spotting as well. Beautiful. Oh, even more spotting. Oh! No, bad. Bad. Go back. I was not expecting him to spot me in return. You know what? This actually gets quite a nice gun depression. Doesn't feel too bad. When the gun works, the gun works. That only just missed. Is this guy AFK? Did he shoot, like, tried to shoot me once and just gave up? Well, I mean... that was a successful game. I think that that's actually what you have to do with that tank, though. You can't, like, keep moving around so much because it's just awful. It's slow. Nearly 3.2k, 700 assistance, 2 kills. Apply. We now have the UDES 3, which is basically the start of this line. From this point onwards, you now have access to the siege mode mechanic. What this means is that this gun doesn't really move, but instead the entire tank does. When you're in-game and you want to start to use the gun, you will activate it with the X key by default. This will then basically transform the entire tank into almost like a turret. But you need to be warned that when you do activate this, it takes 2 seconds to enter and exit the siege mode. The alpha damage is now up to 390 and the standard penetration is at 288. This is a massive step up from what you just had at tier 7. And the premium round is 330 APCR pen. And yes, they go very fast. The HE on this vehicle is 53 with 480 alpha damage. And you definitely should take some HE rounds because you can build a sniper nest very effectively by knocking down trees by shooting them with HE. For the rest of the stats, you have a 9-second reload and 2,500 DPM with 0.31 accuracy and 2.69 second aim time. You see, the problem with the stats that are in game is that they're not actually the correct stats. I don't know why I need to go to an external website to actually get this information, but it should be in game by default. On the very good website of tanks.gg, you can activate the toggle between non-siege mode and siege mode. So by default, you have 2,086 DPM, you have an 11.22 second reload time, you have 2.88 second aim time, and your dispersion is 0.34. If we then go ahead and hit the siege mode, you'll see that you're now up to 2,369 DPM, your reload time is all the way down to 9.88, the aim time is down to 1.44, and your dispersion is down to 0.24. But you will also see that your mobility is massively nerfed. You go 5 kilometers an hour on everything, forwards, backwards, across all terrain types. And just to give you a rough idea of what the stats are in siege mode for the stuff that I was using, I've given it the equipment, I've given it food, I also just chucked in brothers in arms. I haven't done all the crew skills that I'm using, but this is just to give you an overview. So we have nearly 2,900 DPM, an 8.18 second reload, 1.35 second aim time, and 0.22 dispersion. This tank is super accurate and has good DPM. Combine that with the really good penetration and the fact that it's APCR, meaning that you can snipe really well with this tank, you have a monster sniper at tier 8. But you obviously just need to be careful that you do go down to 9 top speed, and the turbo does work for siege mode, which is why we have a turbo here, and 7 in reverse. For the mobility when you're not in the siege mode, we have 74 kilometers an hour forwards and 52 in reverse. Yes, I just said 52 in reverse. This thing is absolutely rapid in reverse. You also have a 28 power to weight. You also then have a near 46% camo rating on stationary, and we are using now with 2 camo crews, and the view range is 435. But let's be honest, for this style of tank, you're not necessarily going to be spotting. The whole idea of this vehicle is to get into a location and then just farm people. You are more than fast enough to get around the map, activate your siege mode, and then just put shell after shell after shell into people with pinpoint precision. For the equipment that we are using, we have changed it up a little bit now. We are using rammer, turbo, and optics. The armor of this tank is actually quite interesting, although not really at the same time. You see, the problem with this tank is that everything will overmatch you, but this sets the foundation for what you should be preparing for when you go up to the next tank at tier 9. You see, these plates here are 20mm thick, which means that anything greater than a 60 caliber gun will overmatch you. But if you don't have that, they don't really have a chance of penning. But because this is at tier 8 and everybody really does have like 75mm caliber guns, and it's quite rare rare that you see someone with less than that, you're pretty much going to get penned every time. But it is something to start thinking about in your mind when you prepare for the next tank. There's potential in this game. Like, this is a much nicer map for this tank. Oh. I do get spotted for it. I think the Lynx actually spotted us as he went up. I would very much like to push up to this, but I'm very aware that this is also not going to be fantastic. Oh, we're just going to put one in and run, because this is... yeah, need to just run away. We don't have the team over here. That was such a bad shot. Is that actually overlapping that, but I can't see it? It is. This is wrong. Like, I couldn't see that for the marker thing. T10 here as well. Not T10, a 110. He's just given me even more camo. Yes, little light tank. I like you. And I'll finish this guy off now. This is good so far. Very, very good. And now that the light tank is here, he can just defend. All he has to do is just spot everything, and I can shoot everything. And Type 63 is going to appear over here somewhere. If the light tank stays alive, this is a pretty big game. Although the AP-30 is pushed up. Nice. UDES to my left. There we go. I found the angle now. There's no point looking anywhere else at the moment. Although, that is very tempting. To be fair, if the light tank is pushed over this way, I should probably be looking over this way. That's not good. They now have a light tank and we do not. Oh? I wonder if they're going to start to YOLO the Grom. If they do, then it's kind of like a good news, bad news situation. I mean, it's bad news for the Grom, but we should, you know, kill them. The riveting enjoyment of playing a camping TD. I'm not too sure whether or not these that have been here have gone all the way to the back. They would have had time to do so. I mean, the Type 63 and the carry aren't in the castle anymore. I'm going to push up. I think they've moved back to try and defend stuff. I mean, we do have some view range, but we really don't have loads. Oh! Where the bloody hell did you come from? Now we just go back, very slowly. Over the UDES dies, and then we can kill the other UDES. Woo. Now where's the other UDES gone? Maybe in these bushes, actually. Even get the track on that as well. We now just need to try and secure this in 5.5 minutes. This isn't completely won, by the way. Like, we could still end up losing this. I know the carry is low, but he still has 500 damage, so... Still has 500 alpha. The Type 63 is still annoying to deal with as well. Although, not if he does that. So close, man. I do want to push up. Game's over now. Very, very good game. Nearly 6k. 4 kills, only 300 assistance, but it's whatever. Apply. Mastery, tank sniper, got high caliber as well. Very, very nice. We got 20, 17, 17. We only missed 3 shells. We now move up to the tier 9 with the STRV 103O. Although that's technically a 0, but 103 zeros, so it doesn't sound as cool. This tank is both an upgrade and a downgrade from what you just played at tier 8. You have that 390 alpha and you have 308 standard penetration. And with the premium round, that goes up to 350 APCR. And yes, it's still very, very fast. It's actually 50 meters a second faster on the standard round than it is the premium round. And the HE, again, is the same thing. You have 480 alpha with 53 pen, mainly just for knocking down trees and stuff. For this vehicle, when you activate siege mode, you don't actually gain the DPM increase anymore. But your DPM is already very, very good. You have a 6.8 second reload and 3,400 DPM. When you do activate the siege mode, though, your aim time and your dispersion do go down. The dispersion actually goes down to 0.26, and the aim time is better than the UDES at 1.08. And although the dispersion isn't as good as a UDES at 0.22, you do have the benefit of going faster in the siege mode at 14 km/h top forward speed and 12 in reverse. You really don't feel as sluggish as you did in the UDES when you are in siege mode. And I am going to talk about the hit points here because I haven't really so far, because most of them are snipers and they're going to have low hit points. But for this you have 1,500, and that's quite important to note because you could brawl with this tank. Moving on to the armor in a second. You go at 54 km forwards and 47 in reverse with 17 power to weight. For the camo rating we have 42%, 100%. Once again, 2 camo crew. But for the view range, you're now at 448 meters, and that is using optics. We have the exact same loadout. We have rammer, turbo, and optics as we did with the UDES. There is another benefit that you have with this tank over the UDES is that you can get out of the siege mode a little bit faster. Before with the UDES, it was 2 seconds to switch into siege mode, but then to switch out of it, it was also 2 seconds. Now it is 1.3 seconds. And when looking at the armor model, you'll see that everything is a ricochet. This is because everything is pretty much 40 millimeters thick, and if you don't have a greater than 120 caliber gun, you will bounce. And that even goes for the lower plate here. And if you can learn about the caliber of the guns that you're facing, you will do very, very well in this vehicle. However, if you do meet one of these things, aim at the side, because the sides are 30 millimeters thick, meaning that anything greater than a 90 caliber gun will go through this. And it doesn't really matter how much they angle, if you manage to hit the side, you are penning. You can also HE pen the cupola on this vehicle with pretty much any tank it's going to meet. And if you know that you don't have the caliber to actually pen one of these things frontally, you might as well go for this, because at least then you're going to try something. And for people wondering what this tank looks like when you have greater than 120 caliber gun, yeah. There are plates here that are 60 millimeters thick, and you can get unlucky and hit these, but it is quite rare. Aim at the lower plate or the very, very center of the gun, and you should be absolutely fine. Right, hello, Mr. Pantera. Right, we go into the siege mode. We come up to the little ridge line. We then say hello to the Pantera. Very nice. I mean, we can actually just pen this directly through the gun mantlet as well, or on the roof there. That also works. See, it pays off to learn some weak spots on tanks. Track him here. He's tracked once. He's not going to be making that mistake again. Lost too much hit points there. I should have just stayed turning at the Pantera. I mean, Jagdtiger will easily go through me. I'm very, very scared of this Jagdtiger. Does he have a greater than 120, the VK? I believe he does, right? He has like 128, no? Oh god, the XM does. Yeah, I don't want to be shot by the XM. He will not have any issues going through me. Still the Jagdtiger behind it, that's terrifying. Even when the Jagdtiger fires, I'm still terrified because he reloads faster. Now that shouldn't have hit, but he was round that corner. I apologise that I got some absolute bullshit RNG on you. There's still a lot of tanks left. I thought this game was like over, but there's still actually like half the enemy team. Ah, thank you, artillery. Yes, yes, yes. There's no one at the back there. I guess they're all over the other side then. Alright, that was quite good though. You just have to be aware of like which shells can overmatch you. Don't peek the ones that can overmatch you, and you'll be alright. There's still the IKV-90 and the FSV that hasn't been spotted. Okay. Very nice. Right, 4.5k. Very good. 2 kills. Apply. And now it is time for the STRV 103B. Look at it. It's so beautiful. This tank combines everything you've just learned from the tier 9 now into a lovely package at tier 10. You have exactly the same gun as you did have at the tier 9. 390 alpha with 308 standard penetration. If you go to premium, it's 350 and the same HE as the previous tier. However, the reload time on the gun is now all the way down to 5.39 seconds reload, and I have 4,338 DPM. I will preface this because I am using field mods and we're going to go into those in a second. But right now, this is what it looks like. You also have 0.27 dispersion at 100 meters, and that is before you go into siege mode. I mean, we just ignore the aim time at this point, right? Once you go into siege mode, by default, you have 0.24 dispersion and sub 1 second aim time. And this is with nothing else being added onto the tank. Your hit points are 1,980, and that is using hardening. If you take the hardening off, it goes down to 1,800. For this vehicle, since we are using the field mods, I do have 2 setups. Again, we'll go through those in a second. You have pretty much exactly the same speed as the tier 9, 54 km/h forwards, 47 in reverse, 20 power to weight. So technically you are slightly faster than the tier 9 as well with the power to weight increase. You have the same exit time from the siege mode, which is quite important, and pretty much the same camo that you were just using. You have exactly the same view range as the tier 9, even though it says 415 here, we're not using optics. And we also have the field mod that increases the view range. And when looking at the armor, we are now looking at 50mm plates either side, but there is still a possibility if you go above the gun for 40mm. And also on the lower plate, it is again 40mm thick. So if you are using a greater than 120 caliber gun, you can go for the lower plate, but you still have those plates either side, which will net you bounces. And you're obviously going to need a bigger than 150 caliber gun to go through this. So I mean, if you do see a Jagdpanzer, it doesn't really care as much. But you still have the 60mm plates either side. Not that the FV cares. But as I said, I am using two different loadouts for this vehicle. The default one that I use most of the time is rammer, hardening, and turbo. Obviously, if you can get bounty versions of this, it's even better. This tank, however, is not really one that benefits from experimental turbo. You might as well put a bounty turbo or bond turbo into this vehicle to make it just be even faster. For the secondary loadout, we have the more sniping setup. If we get onto Prokhorovka or somewhere like that where I know I'm not going to be needing to brawl, then this is the setup that I take. We have vents, rammer, and low noise. And honestly, when you're grinding through the tier 9 and the tier 10, this is one of the issues you're going to face. Because you want to have the full brawling setup, but if you're just grinding, especially at tier 9, you're not going to have access to the field mods. And if you just got the tier 10, you're not going to have access to the field mods either. So until you get to that stage where you can have two setups, I do recommend what I've put on the tier 9, which is going to be rammer, optics, and turbo. Because that's more of the all-purpose, all-round build until you get this. For the rest of the field mods, we are running left, right, left, and then left. Now for number 7, we are having more reload time at the detriment to the aim circle size or the accuracy of this vehicle. You already have insane accuracy. You might as well just go ahead and get the reload time down. For some of you, you might want to go ahead and use this and get the true, most accurate build possible. And that's absolutely fine if you want to do that. But I think for most people, you're probably going to want the DPM more than that. Okay, so hopefully we can come up to here and then maybe we will see people that get spotted going up onto the A line. That's the plan. Oh, there we go. There's the first one. Beautiful. And then we should be able to finish this off, hopefully. Nice. This is lovely. This is what you'd like to see. Whew. Absolutely beautiful. See, they're now kind of just stuck there. I mean, it's so quick to get damage. This is what I mean with this stupid wiggling. I hate it. Like, I'm aiming over there. You don't need to move my reticle again. Really? Leo PTA over there now. I don't know whereabouts the Leo PTA is. Probably in this bush. We'll put a few blind in, because you never know. 279 going down though is a little bit worrying, because he is not using his armor at all if they're above him. Quite annoying that the Leo PTA is out the side, because that means I can't really push and try to kill the Kunzerpanzer, etc. Not until such time as the Leo PTA gets spotted. I mean, the I7 and SCB are pushing, so we should hopefully be able to spot him in a second. There he is. Come on. Of course, we find the only place that we can bounce a Leo PTA. I'm going to load here APCR, or premium here, just to make sure we go through the carrier turret. What we need to do is now try and move around to get more damage, because the game is fully over at this point. It's just about trying to get as much, the maximum out of this. That is not what I was wanting to see over there, to be honest. Out of all the tanks that could have been there, that is one of the worst. I need to peek up this, even if the 268 kills me. I need to try and get damage over here. Come on, man. I mean, yep, that's the STRV. You really don't need long to get a lot of damage in this tank. Like, we basically weren't even playing for half of the game. We did hit the Leo blind once. Very nice, 4.8. Apply. So the STRV 103B is honestly one of the most devastating tanks in the game. You really don't have to wait long to get a lot of damage done. Even on games where you think that the game is going to be over and you've got no damage, you can quickly go into position, farm for like a minute, and then you have massive damage in the end game. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.